Over to Miss Karen Singleton.
Thank you. I haven't done this in a while, so I will probably sit and do most of my talking. But right now, I'm going to introduce to you Jackie Peters because she did the exciting thing and the hard work thing of helping these guys travel to other parts of the world. But she can tell you more about that. I will tell you that Jacquelin Peters received her BA in music from Barnard College and her MA in African Area Studies with emphasis in ethnomusicology from UCLA. As curator for the Smithsonian Festival of American Folklife's Musics of Struggle program, she presented musicians from around the world and the human rights issues inspiring them, garnering a Grammy nomination for their Sony Records release. She moved here from Washington, D.C. in 1991, and life in Charlotte led to curatorial work for Atlanta's National Black Arts Festival and travel to Brisbane, Australia, as road manager for Living Traditions, which included North Carolina folk artists. Please welcome Jackie Peters.
Thank you. This was a very pleasant assignment. Let me say, it's a pleasure to be here tonight. The last time I actually was here, King Sunny Ade and the African Beats were sliding across the stage. So it's good to be back. I had to go up into the attic with the help of my son and pull out some boxes because I noticed in looking at the New York Times obituary for Mr. Joe Thompson, there was just one sentence that just said he traveled to Australia and no more development of what that meant. And it was a great honor. I found this, which is the PR package for the Brisbane Biennial International Music Festival, a fantastic event, musicians from around the world, and representing the United States was the jazz pianist Cecil Taylor and a group mainly comprised of North Carolina traditional artists, including Joe and Odell Thompson. At that time, Joe was a newlywed late in life, and his wife begged and pleaded, and they were able to accommodate her to go. They received a $20,000 grant to support the travel for Joe and Odell, as well as Neil Patman from Athens, Georgia, was a one-arm harmonica player. The Badgett sisters, I know you know from Yanceyville. The gospel Christian singers who used to be based here in Charlotte. Claude Williams, a jazz pianist or jazz violinist from Kansas City. And I was there as the road manager. It just fell into my lap. One day the phone rang and it was the North Carolina Folk Arts Program calling to say, well, can you take them, the person who was supposed to, that fell apart, can you be their road manager? So I gladly took the assignment. I had my passport ready to go. And I had the challenge of even trying to procure passports for people who had no birth certificate. But we made it through. We made it through. Fantastic accommodations. They were welcomed. They all, as old as many of the touring group members were, they all had a wonderful time flying. The one funny story is that Cleveland Young of the gospel Christian singers, he turned 77 years old, but when we crossed the international timeline, we went from Monday to Wednesday, and we skipped his birthday altogether. But they did have a nice dinner and birthday cake for him, steak and wine and everything when we got there. So it was a wonderful experience. And I just wanted to share with you that all of the CDs that they took with them sold out. They wish they had taken more. There was a lot of press, and if I had a podium, I could put this down and just show you all the media, but I can, if you can let me borrow that. I found this, which is a flyer advertising the Living Tradition show, and I have very many other I found in a box at home, so I wanted to share this with the family as a memento. So they went from Brisbane to the capital, which is Canberra. Then they went to Manly Beach, which was named for the Manly or Aboriginal men who used to populate the beach. Anyway, it was a wonderful experience. I have a funny story about Odell, and I believe at the time he was 77 years old, which seemed like it was really old back then, but it doesn't seem so old 20 years later. But he was saying, and this is very appropriate for this time period, he was saying in terms of his IRS taxes, he said, I don't pay taxes, I'm too old. So how he managed to get away with that, I don't know, but just that's a caveat, you know, maybe you don't want to follow his example. But it's just that there were so many beautiful write-ups, and I just want to show you the diversity of the people who attended. This is their annual report. It folds out to show a photo of many of the artists. Unfortunately, I don't see Joe and Odell here, but it was a fantastic trip. They enjoyed themselves so much. They were treated royally at 4- and 5-star hotels, and I'm just very, very happy. And I can say, looking back through all these papers, you become very emotional to think about everybody's gone, except the Badgett sisters, although I called up today and found out that Connie is doing okay. Celester is not doing okay, but taking care of a son who is sick. But I found out that Neil Patman, the harmonica player from Athens, he died in '05. Well, of course, we know Joe and Odell have gone on to glory. I know that Claude has gone to jazz violinist. He's passed on because he was about 90-something when we got there. But he was the most active one. He was running up and down all over the place. But it was just a wonderful opportunity. They made the travel without any incidents, no health scares, and they just had a wonderful time. We were not only appearing on stage, but we were also on ABC, which is Australian Broadcasting Company, on a radio show. So their outreach was beyond what I can imagine, but I believe there were like 66,000 who attended the festival, and I know the tickets for the Living Traditions event were selling at a very brisk pace, we were told when we were on the way there. So I don't want to hold up the festivities this evening, but I just wanted to add a little bit more clarity for that one line that I saw in the obituary. He went to Australia. It was a lot to it, and it was a wonderful experience. So thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you so much, Jackie. And she has those pictures if anyone wants to see more detail after the concert. Okay, I'm going to give you just a little bit of retrospective before we bring the performers on. Thanks to Tom Hanchett and Spike Barkin, I met Joe and Odell in 1990, so it was just a little bit before Jackie got here. When John Singleton and I were asked to help run the Jazz Charlotte Blues stage, I was fairly nervous since I knew little about the black string band traditions, but Joe and Odell immediately put us at ease. They quickly made us feel like a member of the family, literally, since they welcomed us into their various homes in Mebane in order to rehearse the music and dance figures, as well as work on the calling, helped Joe remember more of the dance calls that he did in some of his recordings. We presented those dance figures as well as several cloggers, including John D. Holman at Jazz Charlotte, and later on in the 1993 Family Heritage Day event at Carowinds, which was produced by the Charlotte Folk Society. John and I took on Joe and Odell took on the interesting, challenge of recruiting Thompson family members from Mebane and Charlotte in order to showcase those dance figures at Carowinds, a mixture of nieces and nephews, Joe's wife Polly and Odell's wife Susie. So that was in order to honor the mission of Family Heritage Day. Of course, we were supposed to have rehearsed with these folks a couple weeks ahead of time, but best laid plans don't always come to fruition. So about 4 hours before the actual performance, some hilarity ensued as we ran through the steps several times. It all turned out just fine, but not without some nail biting on my part. After the untimely loss of Odell at one of the Merlefest events, it was inspirational to see Joe pick back up with his music. Perhaps because he knew that's what Odell would have wanted, but also Joe must have realized by then how few were carrying the torch of those traditions. Joe actually was quite amazing in his musical momentum through the years, but the Charlotte Folk Society did as much as possible to keep him busy down in Charlotte by way of our Spring Folk Frolic in 1999 through 2004, performances with Bob Carlin, honoring him with the Heritage Award in 2006, and finally with Wanda, our publicist and newsletter editor, facilitating his nomination for the National Endowment for the Arts Heritage Fellowship in 2007. It was with great joy that we all gathered in Bethesda to see him perform when accepting this award. So this brings me to the performers appearing tonight, because they have been the ones to pick up that precious torch of Joe's. Rhiannon, Giddens, Laffan, and Justin Robinson, along with Dom Flemons, carried Joe's traditions forward with great gusto as the Carolina Chocolate Drops. In fact, winning a Grammy for Best Traditional Folk Album for Genuine Negro Jig. What year was that, Wanda? 2011. Justin had to leave the group soon after to pursue a degree in forestry, but he has not put his music aside completely in between hitting the books. I had the thrill of seeing the latest lineup of the Drops back in December at the Neighborhood Theater and could not sit down, nor could anyone else that was there. There is so much more to be said about the Carolina Chocolate Drops and about Joe, but I think we'd rather be watching these performers. So please help me welcome the Drops in memory of Joe.
Hello.
There are a lot of cameras out here.
I know. Well, we're gonna start like we always started out at Joe's. We would when we went down in the evening, and we'd get all our instruments out, and we'd sit down in his living room, and he'd go, "What you want to play? Let's play Steel Driving Man." You know, that was always the first one for him.
Never sure why he asked, but he always did.
He always did. It was because he's Southern.
Yeah.
You know. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a very packed room. When I pulled up, I was unsure of where I was going. I grew up in Gastonia, but I know Charlotte some. And I saw these people curling around the building. I was like, am I at the right place? I come in to hear fiddle and banjo music. It's a new day.
Yeah.
This is called Georgia Buck. We used to play this one all the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
It's one of those that we got together to kind of go over the tunes. What was it, last week? I think it was. And some of them, you know, you had to think about it for a second, you know, and think, how does this go? And then some of them just kind of leapt off of the strings. And this is one that just, I don't even think we'd ever have to think about this one.
Probably not ever again. Georgia Buck is dead, the last what he said, don't put no shortening in my bread. Georgia Buck is dead, the last what he said, don't put no shortening in my bread. Trouble on the way down the road. Trouble in my way, trouble in my way, trouble in my way down the line. Georgia Buck is dead, the last what he said, don't put no shortening in my bread. Don't you put no shortening in my bread, now, don't put no shortening in my bread.
Thank you. It's so funny that that line about the woman having her way. I wouldn't let the boys sing that one. So I said, well, if we're gonna sing this line, I'm gonna sing it. And that was one of the funniest things. Anytime we went out to see Joe, we went and saw Joe a whole lot. It was always, boys, what are we gonna play now? It's so funny. I was like, all right, that's cool. I don't mind being one of the boys, you know. But then, you know, I mean, he knew I wasn't a boy, but it was just, you know, it was Joe. So I was cool with it. So this is my sister, Lalenja Harrington. And well, this whole thing became a family thing. When we first started finding out about the banjo's history and found out about Joe Thompson, my sister was right there with me when we were finding out about it together, and she got to go down a few times, and also one of the first concerts we did was with the Charlotte Folk Society, and that was also, you know, a family affair. So it's just really nice to be able to bring her as well today. And we've been working on duets based on gospel families from North Carolina, and the Badgetts and the Branchettes, and so we're going to do a few of those. We're going to do one right now called, which one are we doing first?
What do you feel like doing?
What do I feel like doing? We can do I Know I've Been Changed first.
That sounds good to me.
If we could have some of this mic in this monitor, that would be awesome.
Know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. The angels in heaven done signed my name. You know I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. The angels in heaven done signed my name. If you get to heaven before I do, the angels in heaven done sign my name. Tell all of my friends I'll be coming home soon. The angels in heaven done sign my name. You know I know I've been changed. Whoa, I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. The angels in heaven done sign my name. There's two white horses standing side by side. The angels in heaven done sign my name. Can nobody ride but the sanctified? The angels in heaven done sign my name. Good Lord, y'all, I know I've been changed. Whoa, I know I've been changed. I know I've been changed. The angels in heaven done sign my name. You know the angels in heaven done sign my name. Good Lord, the angels in heaven done signed my name.
Thank you. So when we started learning with Joe, we came with ideas of keys and other such things, and when we got to Joe, even though he had a brilliant sense of where G and where C was. I mean, he knew where they were, but he called them low bass and high bass rather than G or C. And so we had to get used to that, and that, I don't know, the low bass and high bass, it just kind of like, it separated you from like kind of classical music and sort of learning the dots and stuff. So you could just kind of like forget all that stuff, you know, and just enter in his world. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's all relative, because for him, high bass is the way that I have the violin tuned right now, which just has a C in it, which violins don't have C's. All right, this is Polly put the kettle on and Molly put the kettle on. Molly, put the kettle on, Jenny make tea. Molly, put the kettle on, Jenny make tea. No, we didn't just learn tunes or singing tunes from Joe. We also learned some songs, and we're going to do one that we hope that you all will sing on. It's one that's not unique to Joe. It was one that it's all over the place. Woody Guthrie did a version of it. It's a great tune. It's called "Going Down the Road Feeling Bad," and yeah, it's a good one. Like one person knows that. So we'll do that one, because I had never heard it before I learned it from Joe. So for me, it's always going to be a Joe tune. And, oh, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. It's got pretty simple words that you can catch on if you've never heard it either. If you don't know it at the beginning, you'll know it by the end. That's a promise. So y'all willing? Ready and willing? All right. You're on the fence. On the fence. Yeah. Down the road feeling bad. I'm going down the road feeling bad. I'm going down the road feeling bad. No, I ain't gonna be treated this way. Y'all got that? I'm gonna try that again. Give you a shot at it. feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad. And I ain't gonna be treated this way. Now you got it. Way down in jail on my knees. Way down in jail on my knees. Way down in jail on my knees. And I ain't gonna be treated this way. Jail on my knees. Y'all can sing it. Way down in jail on my knees. No, I ain't gonna be treated this way. Let's all sing together. Going down the road feeling bad. I'm going down the road feeling bad. Way in the back. I'm going down the road feeling bad. No, I ain't gonna be treated this way. I'm going where the water tastes like wine. I'm going where the water tastes like wine. I'm going where the water tastes like wine, Lord, Lord, and I ain't gonna be treated this way. Last time. Going down the road feeling bad. I'm going down the road feeling bad. Going down the road feeling bad. No, I ain't gonna be treated this way. Thank you. It's hot in here. It's just about as hot as it was in Joe's living room when we'd go down. We would, I'm not even kidding you, we'd go down, we'd been either working all day or you know, just, well, working all day. And we'd go after dinner time and get in there and they had that thermostat cranked up to about 210. Yeah. I remember going there in April one time and the heat was on. And we ended up, I always remember, because I always sat by the door, and I was always at the door, Joe was here, you were there, and then Don was always over here. And as the night progressed, I would get lower and lower in my seat. I'd be like, we'd start off like this, and I would get so hot, and then I'd get really sleepy because I was so hot. You know, it was like, I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it back home, you know. Yeah. But, comforting kind of heat. Yeah, exactly. So we're going to do one, another, you know, favorite, old Joe Clark. Yeah. You going to sing this one? I never sang this. You never sang this one? You can do it. I'm do it. I never sang this one. Well, Joe always sang this. First time for everything. Okay. We'll see if the spirit. You know how it's first time for everything for her, but not for me. Right? Yeah. Hey, this might just be an instrumental one. That's all right.
Thank you. I'll get my sister back up here for another duet. One more day? Yeah. Now this is from the Branchettes, yeah? Recording of the Branchettes? Yes. So this duet is from a recording of the Branchettes. It was really, we've been singing together since I was little, and it was a constant in both of our lives. We just always sang together and made up dances to songs, and it's just something that we did, and so it's really great to be able to do it also as adults and to share it with people, and also to learn other traditions of singing families, particularly from North Carolina. You may not have noticed, but I'm big on North Carolina, and yeah. So it was really neat. We were able to do some of these duets and some other North Carolina music and spoken word art on a record. We actually finally recorded. It's one of those things you're like, oh, we're going to make a record one day. One day we're going to record. And so it was really great to prepare these for a CD, and now we get to sing them. So we're going to do this one more day.
One more day, the Lord has kept me. One more day, the Lord has kept me. He has kept me from all evil. He's kept my mind stayed on Jesus. One more day, the Lord has kept me. I'm so glad the Lord has kept me. I'm so glad the Lord has kept me. He has kept me from all evil. He's kept my mind stayed on Jesus. One more day, the Lord has kept me. One more day, the Lord has kept me. One more day, the Lord has kept me. He has kept me from all evil. He's kept my mind.
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 Stayed on.
Stayed on.
Stayed on.
Stayed on.
Stayed on. Stayed on Jesus. One more day, the Lord has kept me.
So we're going to go back to high bass for a minute. You may be wondering about this banjo, or maybe you aren't, but I'm going to tell you about it anyway. This is a minstrel-style banjo. This is a replica of a banjo from the 1840s, and it's got a goatskin head and would have had gut strings, and it's fretless, and it's a wooden-rimmed banjo. It's made by a lovely fellow from, there's some feedback going on, lovely fellow up north, and ever since I started playing it, I just went, I felt like Joe's music would really fit really well on it. So it's been really cool to play a few of his tunes on this. I don't know if you know this, but the banjo is an African-American instrument. Most of you probably know that, but in the sort of general culture at large, it's still not that well known, so I never lose an opportunity to just throw it out there. But it's really an instrument meeting of black and white culture, really, when it gets to what becomes what we know of as the banjo. So that's why it's American. And on that, I wasn't singing like Joe there, by the way. It was more of Odell's style on that song. Yeah.
Odell was Joe's cousin, who he played banjo with up until Odell passed away. But Odell had an interesting singing voice, we'll call it that. Very high, reedy voice.
I loved it.
Yeah, it was great. It was.
That's one. I think that's probably. I don't want to speak for you, but I think I'm pretty safe saying that's one of our biggest regrets with learning Joe's music is that we never got to meet Odell or Nate, Joe's brother. We were so happy and lucky that we got to meet Joe, but it would have been nice to meet some of the rest of this musical playing family. So we're going to play a song now called Black Eyed Daisy, and as I understand, there's going to be some...
That's a cue of sorts.
Yes, with some visual.
So I teach violin and banjo to some students back in Durham. And this is one of the ones I teach them. It's a very good good little song for them to play. It's a song about cornbread skillets and lids. What? It is.
I dance this in memory of Joe.
Sorry, as soon as there's a dancer on stage, they're the most important thing to me.
One of us should decide who's going to start.
That was awesome. It's it really for me highlights one of the most unique things about Joe's music is that 80% of the music that he played was dance music. You know, it was for square dances and it was for, you know, it was for getting down to. And so when you play the music without having dancers, it changes it, you know, and it's just as good, but it just has a different function. So as soon as she gets up there and starts, I mean, I'm just like, yeah, all right, you know, because then it becomes back to what it originally was, which was, you know, subservient to the dancer, you know. And that's a really important distinction, and that's definitely something that we got from Joe, you know, how to be a dance musician, a dance band musician. And it's funny because when I play these tunes with Justin, you know, we kind of have the same swing. Well, not only because we played with Joe, but because we played for dances. And if you play with somebody who hasn't played for dances, there's a subtle difference, you know, and it's just really interesting. And so actually we're going to do another, I mean, they were all square dance tunes, but this one in particular was one that Joe would call on. And he always used to say that, you know, back then, and I don't know if any of you all contra dance or square dance, but if you go now, there's a caller on a podium and with the microphone, and everybody out there is dancing, and the band's next to him, and everybody's mic'd up. But what it used to be was that, you know, especially if you had house dances where you know, everybody was really close together, the caller would dance and call at the same time. And what Joe said is that if you were playing all the dances, you never got to meet anybody because you were stuck playing the instruments. And so if you wanted to meet a pretty girl, you had to learn how to call one. So this is one. I'm sure he called other ones, but this is, by the time we met him, this is the one that he would do some calls on. And it was really cool because we did a show in Chicago, and we were actually able to, we used some of his calls and did a big square in the show, and it was just so cool to do that. No square tonight unless there's some people I didn't know about who are planning to do it. I wouldn't say no, you know, just, it's carpeted, so be careful if you come up, you know.
still on dragging. I got drunk and fell off the wagon. Old corn liquor was still on dragging.
That was fun. So I'll get my sister up for one more duet tonight.
Yes. No. I was in Chicago, and I watched this. We're talking musicians, jazz musicians, and folks who are not real familiar with the music, and it was an incredible thing to see all of these wonderful, beautiful, brown people up on stage learning that and doing it together, and the joy that came out of that. It was an incredible thing to watch and experience, and that's what Joe was able to bring, you know, to folks in Chicago, you know, who weren't familiar. And, you know, I just wanted to say, because I got to watch it, and it was pretty incredible. So, sorry.
Cool. So this is actually a duet that we learned. This is like one of the first ones as we were learning about the North Carolina familial gospel duet tradition. And we heard a recording of the Badgett sisters, and this is one of the first ones we learned from them. So.
I'm a soldier in this army of my Lord. I'm a soldier in this army. I'm a soldier in this army of my Lord. I'm a soldier in this army. They said if a man dies in this army of my Lord, I know if a man dies in this army, well, he will rise again in this army of my Lord. Oh, yes, he will rise again in this army, 'cause I'm a soldier in this army of my Lord. I'm a soldier in this army, and I'm a soldier in this army of my Lord. I'm a soldier in this army. I know I got a right to sing in this army of my Lord. I know I got a right to sing in this army. And I got a right to pray in this army of my Lord. I know I got a right to pray in this army. And I got a right to fight in this army of my Lord. Oh yes, I got a right to fight in this army, 'cause I'm a soldier in this army of my Lord. I'm a soldier in this army. I'm a soldier in this army of my Lord. I'm a soldier in this army. I'm a soldier in this army. I'm a soldier in this army.
Lalenja Harrington. Yeah. So we're gonna switch on this one, and I do want to mention when we did when we were out there playing Joe's music in the very beginning, we met some folks from a really wonderful organization called the Music Maker Relief Foundation that's based in Hillsborough. And Tim Duffy runs that organization, and he actually put out Etta Baker's last album. I don't know if y'all are familiar with her. She was a wonderful, yes, Piedmont-style guitarist from the western part of the state. And he put out her one and only banjo album. He does a lot of really great work. You should look him up, musicmaker.org. But he actually is the one who spearheaded getting me and my sister to do an album. And so we do have some of those with us, in case you're interested. And one of these days, you and I need to do an all Joe album, but we haven't done that yet. But just wanted to mention that because that does help out the Music Maker Foundation, and we're real proud of the CD. So, but we're going to now swap up, and this is the thing about learning Joe's music and the way he played was that it really didn't matter if you're playing banjo or fiddle. Like, the feel should be the same, and I learned a lot about playing the fiddle by playing the banjo, and vice versa when we would go out there. So, I'd say same for you. You think? Yep.
When I was playing with the band full time, banjo players who play clawhammer banjo like we've been playing have either a long nail on their first finger or a long nail on their middle finger, sometimes both. And so I used to have a long nail, and so I knew I was not playing professionally anymore when I cut that nail. Oh. So I have a little pick now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know what I think about that.
I don't have a nail.
We'll talk after the show. Oh, black Annie got shot. Oh, black Annie got shot in the middle of the barn door. Oh, black Annie got shot. Oh, black Annie got shot. Oh, black Annie got shot in the middle of the barn door. Thank you. Well, we got a couple more Joe tunes for you, but before we get to those last two, we had a request. Are you going to play over here? Oh, yeah. Okay. We had a request from Harry, and Harry Taylor. Y'all know Harry Taylor. Yeah? Well, if you don't, you should. He was there, I think, just about at the beginning, weren't you? You know, of all this, and has been there along the way, and so I couldn't say no to this request. This is a tune that we used to do, and called "Didn't I Dance," and it's a wonderful waltz, and we can't get out of an evening of music without at least one waltz. So we're gonna do this one for you, and this is by Laurie Holland. And I put this on, the only funny story I have about this song is I put this on my CD a long, long time ago, my first little demo CD. And I didn't know much about how copyright worked at that time. I was like, I need to pay this woman something, but I don't know how to reach her. I don't know what to do. And I really wanted to because I made 1,000 CDs. You know, you're supposed to pay the songwriter. And I got this phone call out of the blue. I was in the car. I'll never forget it. And I was like, hello? And I hear, hello, I'm Laurie Holland, and I hear you owe me some money for my song. And I was so excited. I was like, oh my gosh, that's awesome. Like tell me where to send the check. I was so excited I could send her money. And then I got to ask her about the song, and it was just really, really cool experience. But we're gonna, and this is my husband, Mike Laffan, here for you.
Hello.
Grandmother heard him, his song was so sweet. She danced to the fiddler on little bare feet. She was 15 and fair, with black braided hair. Didn't she dance in her day? Over the years I remember she said, one night as she kissed me and put me to bed. Oh, when I was a maid and my song was played, didn't I dance in my day? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? My day. Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? That's a really nice chorus if you want to sing on it. You want to try it? All right. So we'll go back to that chord. So it starts off with "Didn't I dance?" Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? My day. Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? Lovely. Mother, she danced in a long silken gown, hair done in curls, the belle of the town. There was many a man who asked for her hand. Didn't she dance in her day? Now when she dances just once in a while, she says, I remember those times and I smile. I think of the night my feet danced so light. Didn't I dance in my soft summer's night, silhouette slender against the moon's light, hair flowing free, once that was me. Didn't I dance in my day? Now that I'm older, there's one thing I know, I'll go on dancing though the tempo be slow. And I know that one day to my grandchild I'll say, didn't I dance in my day? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day, my day? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? One more time, y'all. You sound so good. Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day, my day? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance? Didn't I dance in my day? And now we're going to do our other request we had this evening. This is going to be, I think this has got to be one of Joe's most Joe songs. I don't know. It's just, when I think of him singing this song, it's just him. It's his voice. And he was an amazing fiddler, but he was also an incredible singer. And we're going to try to do him justice on this.
We talked about this after a little thing that we did in Melbourne. And the conclusion that other folks who had played with Joe for a long time had come to was that part of the reason why he got the attention that he got was because he was such a great singer. People like fiddle music, or people like hearing people sing even more. So Joe was a wonderful, wonderful singer as well as a player. So I'll just sing this one. Well, I got oil in my vessel, got my lamp trimmed and burning, wanna be ready when the bridegroom come. Well, I got oil in my vessel, got my lamp trimmed and burning, wanna be ready when that bridegroom come. Well, I got oil in my vessel, got my lamp trimmed and burning, wanna be ready when the bridegroom come. Well, I got oil in my vessel, got my lamp trimmed and burning, wanna be ready when that bridegroom come. Well, I got oil in my vessel, y'all know the words? Trimmed and burning, wanna be ready when the bridegroom come. Well, I got oil in my vessel, and my lamp trimmed and burning, wanna be ready when that bridegroom come.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was blind, but now I see. Was blind, but now I see. Gotta get all in my vessel, get my lamp trimmed and burning. Better be ready when the bridegroom comes. You better have all in your vessel, get your lamp, get it trimmed and burning. You better be ready when the bridegroom comes.
Well, I got oil in my vessel, got my lamp trimmed and burning, be ready when that bridegroom come. Well, I got oil in my vessel, that lamp trimmed and burning, wanna be ready when that bridegroom come.
Thank you so much. Well, this has been a wonderful evening. We just want to thank you all for coming, and well, we want to thank the Charlotte Folk Society and Wanda Hubicki for asking us to do this in the first place. And I also want to thank Wanda again for her patience with me, because I gave birth in January 4th, and thank you. Thank you. I'll take all the applause I can get for that. And so it's been kind of challenging, I know, for her to get up with me and just keep my mind on track and get the interviews done. And so I just appreciate that patience. And this has just been such a wonderful opportunity for Justin and I. I mean, we haven't played these in public since it's been a couple years, hasn't it? And not since, I mean, we did play at the Memorial in Mebane, and but you know, as in a concert setting, and so it's been really wonderful to be able to explore these tunes again and share them with you. So thank you for that. And we're going to end on this tune, and this is when Joe would always say there always would come a part in the evening. This is without fail. There will always come a time in the evening when Joe would sit there and he'd go, you know, you got to let him know that you go to church once in a while. And we knew what was coming next after that. And, you know, Joe was just a very much a church-going man and very spiritual. And it was just amazing to know him. And we really appreciate y'all putting this concert on. And just think it's wonderful that you all, so many people wanted to come out and hear our renditions of his tunes. We're no Joe. No. We can't be Joe. All we can do is take what he gave us and have the responsibility to it, to get it out to as many people as possible, and so that as many people as possible know who Joe was, and at least have a faint facsimile of his music. So we're very grateful and honored to be able to do that.
This one. This one's easy to catch on to. It's called Lights in the Valley. You'll get it. So, thank y'all again.
You want to start or shall I?
You start. In the valley, outshine the sun. Lights in the valley, outshine the sun. Lights in the valley, outshine the sun. Way beyond the blue.
Singing in the valley, outshine the sun. Singing in the valley, outshine the sun. Singing in the valley, outshine the sun. Way beyond the blue.
Preaching in the valley, outshine the sun. Preaching in the valley, outshine the sun. Preaching in the valley, outshine the sun. Way beyond the blue.
Praying in the valley, outshine the sun. Praying in the valley, outshine the sun. Praying in the valley, outshine the sun. Way beyond the blue.
Lights in the valley, outshine the sun.
Come on now. Lights in the valley, outshine the sun. You know it. Lights in the valley, outshine the sun, way beyond the blue. Give me another chance at that. Come on. Lights in the valley, outshine the sun. Lights in the valley, outshine the sun. Lights in the valley, outshine the sun, way beyond the blue. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, thanks. If we were going to stay true to a Joe evening, we would just start over with, you know, because if we played all the tunes and he wasn't played out, we'd just play them again, you know. But there is one that I particularly love Joe singing on. We're not going to do any instruments on it because I know all y'all know it. It's called "I Shall Not Be Moved," and this is something about Joe. We were at his funeral, and I saw black people there from the community and his family and from other places, and I saw white people there from his community and from other places. And that was something about Joe, is that he didn't care what you looked like or what color you were when it came to music. He would say, you know, come on down and play, you know. And that's something special, and I think that we all can, you know, live for that. That's just something that always struck me about Joe, because a lot of the people who played with Joe were from the white community around in Mebane, and they were incredible, like just always would go play with him, and felt very lucky to do that, just as we did. And so we were all his band together, and this is, I think, I don't know, I just wanted to say that now that we had another chance to come out and say something. So we're going to do this one, "I Shall Not Be Moved," and I really hope y'all play, or, well, no, don't play anything, because I don't know what key we're in, so, but yeah. Sing along with us.
I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved, like a tree planted by the water. I shall not be moved. Gonna meet my mother. I shall not be moved. Gonna meet my mother. I shall not be moved, like a tree planted by the water. I shall not be moved. Gonna meet my father. I shall not be moved. Gonna meet my father. I shall not be moved, like a tree planted by the water. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved, like a tree planted by the water. I shall not be moved. Gonna meet my mother. I
I shall not be moved. Gonna meet my mother, I shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, I shall not be moved. Gonna meet my maker, I shall not be moved. Gonna meet my maker, I shall not be moved. Like a tree planted by the water, I shall not be moved. I shall not be moved.